State officials recently began a new campaign to encourage healthy relationships among young people, aimed at prevention and awareness. The program is called Respectfully. Among the allies in the effort is the advocacy and support group Jane Doe, Inc. To tell us about the message and why it's needed is our guest from Jane Doe, the Director of Membership and Programs, Deanna Mancera. Thank you very much for being with us, Deanna.
Thank you so much for having us.
First of all, talk about what's going on with this age group. It sounds almost too young to be having sexual abuse problems, but explain, what's a kid that age confronted with?
Yeah, unfortunately, sexual assault and domestic violence could happen at any age. So the opportunity of addressing these issues and preventing those issues at an early age is highly recommended. So a campaign like this one, having age-appropriate messaging about what healthy relationships look like, it's extremely important.
What does healthy mean, as far as you can say?
Yeah, so healthy relationships, which the great opportunity of this campaign was that they were asking young people, what does that look to you? What does that mean to you? Because what it means to me as an adult, it's very different than what it means to a young person. So for them is really thinking about respecting one another, thinking about, what it means to be in a relationship, either romantic or friendship, and in a very healthy way, in a very respectful way, in a way where one another are trusting each other. So that's what the youth were telling us, and we're telling the Lieutenant Governor and the folks that work with this campaign of what it meant to them.
Of course, another concern behind this is that people feel pressured to, put up with something that they don't feel comfortable with. What's that like for a 12-year-old or a 14-year-old?
Yeah, at a very early age, you get pushed to do I remember growing up, you get pushed to do things to, to fit the mold, to be not to be alone, to have friends, to be among your friends, to be cool. So in order for you to do that, there's certain things that you are pushed to do, like it or not sometimes, or, the messages are that in order for you to be part of the group, you have to do certain things. This could be in a friendship, or this could be in a romantic relationship. So the interesting thing about, again, this campaign is that you have youth having this messaging and having conversations among one another of what that means in an LGBTQ relationship, in a person with a disability as well, in a friendship between a person of color and a white person. What does that mean? So all of those messages are throughout the campaign.
This is Being the News, and we're talking with Deanna Mancera from Jane Doe, Inc. Deanna, I guess what also happens with relationships like this is that sometimes something that seems to be very nice at one point can turn sour, and then you get a lot of social media demons coming at you. Isn't that something you're concerned about too?
Yes, definitely. And, unfortunately, this domestic violence and sexual assault has been happening for a long time. This isn't a new thing in our youth. So the thing about today is the social media has an addition to what the domestic violence and sexual assault look like. Now you have young people having conversations, showing pictures on social media about their relationships, so which makes it widespread and easier than it used to be before. So it's definitely a concern for us, and which is one of the reasons why, again, this campaign is utilizing the tools that young people are using now, like social media, to communicate that message of healthy relationships.
We're also talking about young people at an age when they want to keep their parents off their backs, but at the same time, parents are an important part of this campaign, aren't they?
Yes, there were actually a lot of parents were interviewed. There were surveys that were also conducted to parents as well as young people and people who work with young people as well. So this campaign is really to really address that this disease is preventable, and everybody has an opportunity to really be part of it, from parents to people who work with youth and youth.
Another part of the message here is about escalating behaviors. I guess this starts from something that's not so scary, but it can get worse. Give me an example of what that could mean.
Yeah, so one example of that could be, start from bullying, for example. And then from that, it could escalate to the person using like social media, what we just had a conversation about, and start threatening the person about potentially outing them of being, a gay person, or being a person who's not out to their family about being a gay person. So it could escalate from that to like now all of your friends in social media, all your parents, family, now they know about it, and from that it could potentially get to an altercation between the two young people having this issues. So
finally, we have a little time. You have an event coming up in June?
Yes, we do. So every year, Jane Doe has a conference which we call our Prevention Summit, and which is an opportunity for youth, people working with youth, as well as community-based programs to learn about the newest strategies around prevention. So it's happening on June 21st at the DC Youth Center in Worcester.
And finally, if people want to get in touch, or if they need help, is there a number they can call?
Yes, so they can go to www.janedoe.org, and you can find more information about Jane Doe, about supporting us, as well as how to support our member programs.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Deanna Mancera from Jane Doe, Inc.